we're going to dig into something I think we've all felt. You're working harder than ever, you're doing everything right, but it just feels like you're not getting ahead. Well, we're going to break down the hidden reason why, and it all starts with completely rethinking what money even is.
I mean, seriously, does it ever feel like that? You're running, you're sweating, you're putting in all the effort, but you look up and the finish line is somehow even further away than when you started? It's a maddening feeling, and trust me, you are not alone in this.
You know the drill. You get your paycheck, you dutifully put some of it into savings, trying to build a little nest egg for the future. But then you look at the price of a house, or even just your grocery bill, and it feels like your savings just don't have the same punch they used to. So, what gives? What is actually going on here? All right, so unravel this mystery, we have to start by completely changing how we think about money. So for a second, just forget about dollar bills or coins. At its very core, money is something much, much simpler. Think of it this way. Money isn't really stuff. It's a technology. That's it. It's just a tool, a ledger, basically, for keeping track of all the favors and value exchanged in society. Who owes whom. And that leads us to the single most important question. Who gets to control that ledger?
So when you look back through history, there have really only been two kinds of these ledgers. On one hand, you have hard money, like gold. It's valuable simply because it's hard to find and hard to make more of. Nature puts a limit on it. And then you have fiat money, like the dollars in our pockets. Its most important feature? It can be created, easily, in infinite amounts, by whoever is in charge. That one little difference? Well, it changes everything.
Okay, so if the money we're all using can just be, created out of thin air, what does that do to the value of the money you've already worked so hard for and saved? Well, it introduces the villain of our story, an invisible thief known as dilution. This right here. This is the whole game. According to financial analyst Lynn Alden, this is the single most important question you should be asking about your personal finances. Are the units you're holding, your savings account, your paycheck, losing their value simply because someone, somewhere, decided to create a whole lot more of them? The best way to think about it is like this. Imagine you have a big pitcher of really good orange juice. Now, what happens if someone keeps pouring more and more water into that pitcher? The total amount of liquid goes up, but each glass you pour is weaker, less orangey. It's the same with money. When the supply goes up, each dollar you hold buys a little bit less. Your slice of the economic pie gets smaller. And this is what makes it so incredibly sneaky. It's a tax you pay without ever seeing it on a form or writing a check. It's invisible, but you feel it. You feel it every time you go to the store and notice prices are higher. It is quietly, constantly, eating away at the value of your savings, making sure the money you have today is worth less tomorrow. And this is the really wild part, this whole system doesn't hit everyone the same way. Not even close. It basically creates two completely different financial games with two totally different sets of rules. So on one side, you have the wealthy. They get access to cheap loans, and they use that money to buy up scarce assets, things that can't be easily created, like real estate, fine art, or stocks in great companies. And on the other side, well, that's the reality for most wage earners. You get a salary, and your main strategy is to save that cash, the very thing that's being diluted. See the difference? One playbook is designed to outrun dilution, and the other gets absolutely crushed by it. This right here is the very essence of what people call broken money. The system doesn't necessarily reward the people who create the most real-world value, like a great teacher or a skilled carpenter. It rewards the people who are best at playing this financial game. It actively punishes you for saving cash and rewards you for borrowing money to buy assets. Think about that phrase for a second. Short the currency. It's a fancy way of saying they are betting against cash. They're trying to get rid of their easily printed dollars and trade them for hard-to-create assets as fast as they can. But for most of us, holding cash isn't some grand strategy, right? It's a necessity. You're forced to hold the very thing the smart money is running away from. Okay, so the system feels rigged. It's frustrating. So what on earth are you supposed to do about it? Well, the solution isn't about finding some magic stock pick. It's about a fundamental shift in how you think about saving and wealth. It's about escaping the trap. It really just boils down to these two powerful ideas. First, your goal should be to own things that are hard to make more of, scarce things. And second, just as important, you want to avoid holding large amounts of things that are easy to make more of. And what's the easiest thing in the world to make more of right now? Cash. This is the core strategy for protecting yourself in this kind of system. And you know what? This explains so much about the weird economy we live in. Ever wonder why housing prices seem completely disconnected from what average people can afford? Or why the stock market just keeps climbing? A lot of the time, it's not about people investing in the next great innovation. It's just a desperate flight to safety. People are trying to park their wealth anywhere it won't get eaten alive by that invisible thief of dilution.
So, at the end of the day, the biggest advantage you can give yourself isn't a secret stock tip or get-rich-quick scheme. It's simply understanding the rules of the game you're playing. Once you really see how the money machine works, how dilution acts as that hidden tax, you can start making choices that actually protect you instead of just running faster and faster on that financial treadmill. So let me leave you with a question. What's one scarce asset you could own?